Hello, BookTube. It's Leap Day. We have a February 29th. So, of course, I wanted to do the Leap Day tag. There's, of course, this being BookTube, there's a tag for every occasion. There's a tag for Leap Day. It was created by Amy Myers and Melted Books, and I saw it on Cats and Camera. And I'll leave links to their channels down below. It's a few Leap Day questions I thought would be a great opportunity to talk about this day, because it only happens once every 4 years. It reminds me that in a little bit, it will be my 4th anniversary on BookTube. Amazing. In March is my 4th anniversary. But let's see. Question number 1 is an extra day. What is one book that brought a little something extra? There are quite a few of these, but the one that I have in mind actually called itself an illuminated novel. It's from 2015. It was Bats of the Republic by Zachary Thomas Dodson. And it was a lovely thing. In a book reviewer's life, actually in just a reader's life, you always have regrets like this when something comes into your possession that is just lovely and also good. Bats of the Republic was also very good. It wasn't just relying on its visual presentation. It was a lovely thing for its visual presentation. But it was also a really good novel, and you wish that you kept it. You can't ever tell, but in hindsight, I wish I'd kept that book. I don't have it. I've never seen it before. I've never seen it since. So I'm gonna include that one. It's a strong recommendation. If you have it on your shelf and you haven't got to it, give it a try. And then prompt number 2 is taking a big leap. What is one book that you are or were afraid to read? And as I said almost 4 years ago, if I'm doing my job right, books are afraid of me, not the other way around. There is no book that I'm afraid to read. Prompt number 3, every 4 years, what is the 4th book you read this year? I went back into my records and checked, and it was The American People, Volume 2, The Brutality of Fact by Larry Kramer. Big, fat historical novel that's basically about the AIDS epidemic. And it was astonishing. Just astonishing. It harrowed me. Probably because I went through that epidemic, but also I think it would work on pretty much any reader. The more you know, the more it will work on you, but I thought it was brilliant. And I wrote a review of it, so I will remember, I'll leave a link down below to my review. Let's see here. Prompt number 4 is 366 days in the year. Looking at your 3rd shelf, name the 6th book on that shelf. And I did. I went to this shelf right here. And the 6th book is a volume in the Marrying the Duke series. This is Kathy Maxwell, A Date at the Altar. And the first book in this series was a book called The Match of the Century, which was tremendously good. I haven't gone hunting to see if I actually still have it. But boy, oh boy, was that good. I don't think I read... Yeah, Match of the Century was the first one, and then the second one was The Fairest of Them All, and I don't think I read that. But this one was great. This one was just fantastic. And there is the steamy step back, which says, before he can take a trip down the aisle, he needs lessons in love. So it was a big sumptuous Regency romance. Was the 3rd book on the shelf. And then in the same prompt, you're supposed to then go 3 more books. Name the 6th on that shelf, and then name the 6th book after that. So I progressed 6 more books. It's another romance, because this whole bookcase is romance now. But it's of a radically different kind. This is also a book in a series, I believe. Yes, the Silvertown Wolf series. And this is Home for the Holidays by Terry Spear. And I was immediately attracted to the cover, but maybe not for the reason that you think. And it's about modern-day werewolves. Apparently there's a gigantic subculture in the romance world of werewolf novels. Oh my God! In gay fiction, gay self-published fiction is all about werewolves. As far as I can tell, there's barely anything that isn't. It's incredible, and or shapeshifters of some kind. And there's a psychological insight lurking somewhere in there that needs a dissertation to tease it out. But this I haven't actually read yet. It's on the shelf, but this was, I think, a 2020 release. Is that right? Or maybe late 2019. Yeah, this was late 2019, and I haven't got to it yet. I got it, and then it just fell through the cracks. As soon as I found it, as a result of this prompt, I realized that. So I have the prompt to be thankful for, because I will go and read it before I put it away again. And then let's see here. Prompt number 5 is leaping ahead. Name 4 books that you want to read by the next leap year. I'm, of course, not going to wait that long to read anything. Instead, I came up with 4 books that I want to read coming up this year that I haven't read yet. The first one is by Grant Snyder, and it's called I Will Judge You by Your Bookshelf. and it looks fantastic. It looks really funny, and maybe a little too pointedly true. So we shall see. Then the next one is Hiding in Plain Sight by Sarah Kendzior. I have an advance copy. I haven't got to it. It's an important commentator on the current American political tradition, one of the most important commentators, whose her book, A View from Flyover Country, was, in retrospect, a canary in a mine shaft for Trumpism. If more people had been paying attention to that book, I think it would have been better for the country and therefore for the world if more people had been paying attention to that book. She's an incredibly insightful observer of the American political transformation that's been going on in the last 4 years. And her book, Hiding in Plain Sight, is coming up. Then also The Bird Way by Jennifer Ackerman. She's done a couple of books on birds, and she's terrific writing about them, just terrific. And I think that now her publisher is starting to contour these books to look the same as a kind of a bird library. And I'd be happy if that were true, because she's fantastic. And then the last one is fiction. It's Utopia Avenue by David Mitchell, who hasn't written a book in quite some time, hasn't written a novel in quite some time. And I know that opinions vary about him on BookTube, but I think his book, Bone Clocks, is just great. And he's written a whole bunch of others. He's famous for a whole bunch of cerebral and slightly difficult books. I like that. I don't think that he's one of the authors out there who's making books cerebral and slightly difficult in order to brag. I think he probably just actually fictionally creates that way. But in one way or another, Utopia Avenue, I'm looking forward to. And then prompt number 6 is Leapfrog. Name a book on your TBR that has green on it. I went and found one. They jump right out. This is for August, so I'm not going to be getting to it anytime soon. But this is the new Margot Livesey, her new novel, The Boy in the Field, which is green not only on the front but on the spine. A poignant and probing psychological drama that follows the lives of 3 siblings in the wake of a violent crime. This is a subtle, intelligent, understated author, which are not 3 good things to be in the American book market, but nevertheless, the more I read her, the more I like her. So that'll be, I won't read it until August, but that's on my TBR, and it's green. And then prompt number 7 is Bad Luck. I didn't know that leap years are bad luck. Are leap years considered bad luck in folklore? Anyway, what bookish thing do you steer clear of? And the reason that it's on my mind is because I accidentally stepped into it yesterday. And that is YA book Twitter. Not general book Twitter, but YA, the YA crowd on Twitter and on Instagram. But I happened to stumble into Twitter, and it is a viper pit. It is a total viper pit. There isn't a single person connected with it who shouldn't be thoroughly ashamed of themselves. If you don't know anything about it, you cannot conceive of how poisonous a place it is. Just absolutely poisonous. You wouldn't think that the kinds of attitudes and horrible, offhand, destructive comments and doxing like crazy, you wouldn't think that things like that behavior like that could be attached to the bookish world. And yet, the YA crowd is lost in it. Absolutely lost in it. Totally poisonous. Totally. I made a mistake I came in glancing contact with it, and that is a mistake. It's a shame because this is all just people who are just giving vent to their most savage impulses, to destroy authors, to cancel careers, to mock and sneer at books for anything at all, anything whatsoever. That that a lot of these people are in their mid-20s in their work, and they ought to be ashamed of themselves. But the thing that worries me, the thing that bothers me about poisonous YA book Twitter, is how many actual young adults are going to Twitter in order to see people talk about the books they love and maybe to see what their authors are tweeting. And instead, their authors are caught in running brush fires with psychopaths. That's the thing that's on my mind. There are lots of other bookish things that I try to steer clear from, but that's on my mind because of a recent brush. And then prompt number 8 is to tag people for the Leap Day tag. Now, I'm doing this late, so by the time this goes up, Leap Day is going to have precious few hours left in it, so it might not be Leap Day by the time you see this, so you might not want to do it. But even so, I'm going to tag some people. I want to tag David Wardrop. I don't think I've ever tagged him before. I want to tag Peg at the History Shelf, of course. No reason you can't do this tag a day late. I want to tag David Murphy, of course, and the Francophile Reader. I haven't tagged you in forever, and these questions are good. These are good questions, and I want to tag my my Marsathon crew, of course. Scott at Book Invasion, Mike at Pints and Paperbacks, Matt at Paperback Junky, Mark at Richardson Reads, because Marsathon is coming up. Where we're launching into it next month, actually tomorrow. Marsathon begins with our read along of the Mars novels of Edgar Rice Burroughs. You're all heartily encouraged to join us. So that was the and of course, Britta. They have leap days in Germany as well. Yes, but that is the leap year book tag. So much fun, such good questions. I couldn't resist doing it because, you know, who knows where any of us will be on the next leap year. So I'm gonna wrap this up, and I will see you soon. Thank you, BookTube.